There's a quiet moment in every connection between two people, a moment you can almost feel before words are even spoken. If you've ever wondered whether a woman is genuinely drawn to you, not just in the way someone enjoys a conversation or a laugh, but in the deeper, more intimate sense, then it's important to understand that her signals aren't always obvious. They aren't always loud. In fact, they're often subtle, hidden in the way she moves, the way she speaks, and even in the silences she leaves between your words. And these signs, when recognized, reveal far more than simple attraction. They hint at trust, comfort, and a desire to let herself be seen in ways she rarely allows. Before I go further, I want you to pause for a moment and consider your own presence. How often do you really notice the little details? The glance that lingers slightly longer than casual, the tone that softens around you, the smile that reaches her eyes instead of just her lips. These are not accidents. They are, in their own quiet way, invitations. A woman's subconscious often communicates far more than her conscious mind does. She may not be thinking, "I want to give myself to him," in those words, but her body, her eyes, her very posture may be broadcasting exactly that. Now, I also want to gently remind you, noticing these signs is not about reading her mind or assuming that what she feels is a transaction or a test. This is about awareness, about emotional intelligence, and about respecting the depth of another human being's vulnerability. When a woman is willing to give herself to someone, emotionally, mentally, or physically, there is a rare openness in her behavior that can't be faked. It's subtle, yet undeniable, once you learn how to recognize it, and it's far more revealing than words alone. You may also notice that these signs often appear in the quiet spaces in between moments. They're rarely loud. She might brush against you accidentally, or linger near you when she could walk away. She might ask questions that seem personal, not to be nosy, but because she genuinely wants to understand you. And sometimes it's in the small sacrifices, like adjusting her plans to spend time with you or revealing thoughts she hasn't shared with anyone else. Each of these moments is a thread, a signal of comfort and curiosity, and when woven together, they paint a picture of trust and an unspoken desire for closeness. If you've stayed this far into this video, you probably want to know what to look for, to better understand her intentions without overstepping, without misreading her signals. And that's what we're going to explore, not in a way that manipulates or pressures, but in a way that allows you to recognize her openness, her subtle willingness, and her deeper emotional investment. By the end, you'll be able to read those quiet signals, those almost invisible gestures that tell you when she's ready to truly let herself be vulnerable with you. And while we go through these insights, I want you to take a deep breath, stay present, and allow yourself to notice without judgment. It's not about scoring points or achieving outcomes. It's about understanding the language of connection and understanding that most men never truly learn. And if you find value in this perspective, in noticing the quiet truths most people overlook, consider giving this video a like or subscribing, not for me, but for yourself, for the chance to see the deeper layers of human connection that are usually hidden in plain sight. The first hidden sign you should pay attention to is the way she creates space for you in her life, even in ways that seem small or almost accidental. It's easy to dismiss a text that comes at just the right moment, or a message that isn't necessary, but shows she's thinking of you. But when a woman truly wants to give herself, to let herself be emotionally open, to trust you with her thoughts and her presence, she starts carving room for you, often without saying a word. It's rarely dramatic. It's not about grand gestures. It's the consistency of her attention, the quiet effort to be near you, to engage with you, and to prioritize you in her mind, even amidst her own responsibilities and distractions. Notice how she listens when you speak. Not just hearing your words, but responding in a way that shows she's absorbed them, she's remembered them, she's internalized them. She might bring up something you said days ago, something that wasn't important to anyone else, but clearly mattered to her because it mattered to you. This is her mind weaving you into her world. She is making space for you in the most subtle yet profound way. It's a sign of emotional investment, of wanting to be connected beyond surface-level interaction. And here's something few men recognize. It's not just about the physical or conversational presence, it's about vulnerability. When a woman shares her opinions, her fears, her small daily struggles, it's her way of testing the waters of trust. She's allowing you to see parts of herself that she normally keeps private. If she trusts you with these glimpses, it's a signal that she's ready to let down her emotional armor. She's inviting you into a place that is normally protected, and that is never done lightly. You might also notice the little compromises. She may adjust her schedule to meet you, even subtly, or she may include you in plans that are important to her, not because she feels obligated, but because she wants you to be part of her world. These choices reveal more than attraction. They reflect a deeper willingness to integrate you into her life. And integration in this context is not about dependence or control. It's about intimacy and mutual vulnerability. She's showing that she values your presence enough to make room for it, emotionally and practically. Another layer to watch for is her energy when you're together. Does she seem more relaxed? Does she let herself laugh more freely or show moments of curiosity, playfulness, or tenderness that she normally reserves for people she deeply trusts? These are subtle, often unconscious signals, but they carry tremendous weight. Emotional openness rarely appears in isolation. It's a pattern, a collection of behaviors that together indicate she's preparing herself to let someone in, perhaps even you. Recognizing this first sign is about awareness and mindfulness. It's about seeing her small acts of inclusion and attention as signals of deeper emotional readiness. When you notice these, your response matters, not just for her, but for yourself. Respond with respect, patience, and reciprocal presence. If you do, you're creating a space where she can continue to open herself naturally, without pressure, without expectation. And that is exactly the kind of environment where deeper connection and true willingness emerges. The second hidden sign a woman gives when she's willing to truly let herself be close is mirroring, both emotional and physical. Now, this is something most men overlook because it doesn't look like a traditional signal of attraction. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but it's profoundly revealing. Mirroring is her subconscious way of saying, "I feel safe with you. I want to be in sync with you." It can show up in the way she copies your gestures, the rhythm of your speech, the way she laughs when you laugh, or the small ways she matches your pace when walking together. These behaviors aren't conscious, they're instinctive, a reflection of emotional resonance. When a woman mirrors you, it's not about imitation, it's about alignment. Her body and mind are attuned to yours in a way that signals comfort, trust, and subtle desire. It's one of the most powerful yet quiet ways she communicates that she's opening herself to you. And here's the key. This alignment isn't just about attraction in a superficial sense. It's an indicator that she feels psychologically safe around you. She trusts that you won't judge her, that you'll respond to her presence with acceptance rather than criticism. That safety is the foundation for her willingness to share herself fully. Mirroring can also appear in conversation. She may start echoing your word choices, your tone, or your way of phrasing things. It's not mimicry, it's connection. When someone mirrors you like this, it's a sign that she's actively seeking harmony with your energy, even unconsciously. It means she's invested in feeling understood and in understanding you. And this is where it moves beyond casual interest into a deeper, more intimate space. She's letting herself be psychologically and emotionally vulnerable because she senses a reciprocal openness from you. Another layer of mirroring is emotional responsiveness. When you share something personal, your thoughts, your frustrations, even small triumphs, does she respond with empathy that feels instinctive, not forced? Does she match your energy, validating your feelings while subtly aligning herself to your emotional state? This is a major signal that she is not just present physically, but emotionally engaged. Emotional mirroring is her subconscious way of creating a bridge between your inner world and hers. And when she does this consistently, it signals that she's willing to allow closeness and eventually intimacy. Pay attention also to the subtle physical cues that accompany mirroring. Does she lean forward when you lean forward? Does she unconsciously adjust her posture to match yours? These small, almost invisible actions reveal far more than words ever could. They reflect comfort, attentiveness, and a desire to be in sync with you, not for manipulation, not for games, but simply because her mind and body are aligning with someone she trusts. Recognizing mirroring requires patience and observation. It's not a single gesture or moment. It's a pattern, a rhythm of interaction that reveals her emotional investment and subtle openness. When you notice this, it's a signal to remain present, grounded, and respectful, reinforcing the safe space that allows her to continue opening herself. And that's the kind of connection most men never truly learn to see. The quiet language of trust, desire, and willingness expressed without a word. The third hidden sign that a woman is ready to give herself, not in a superficial sense, but emotionally and intimately, is intentional vulnerability. This is different from casual sharing or friendly conversation. This is when she allows you to see pieces of herself she usually keeps protected. It might start small, a story about a personal challenge, a fear, a regret, but it carries immense weight because it signals trust. Vulnerability is never given lightly. When a woman reveals her inner world to you, even in fragments, she is effectively saying, "I feel safe enough with you to show parts of myself that most people never see." Notice the timing and context of these disclosures. If she opens up after a moment of laughter, after a casual conversation, or even after a disagreement, it's not random. She's testing the waters of trust. And if she returns to those moments later, reflects on them, or invites your perspective, it's a deeper confirmation that she's engaging with you on an emotional level. She's not just seeking sympathy or attention, she's evaluating whether you're someone who can handle her authenticity. This is subtle, yet profoundly telling. Vulnerability is also revealed in her questions. She might ask about your past experiences, your fears, your dreams, not out of idle curiosity, but because she wants to understand the real you. And when she does, she's simultaneously offering a mirror. She's sharing her own experiences, her own uncertainties, as a way of balancing the emotional exchange. This is a psychological dance of trust, where both people risk being seen as they truly are. And when a woman allows herself to be seen in this way, she's signaling that she's considering a deeper connection. Another layer of intentional vulnerability is how she handles emotional boundaries. She may let you into her feelings, her moments of insecurity, without expecting you to fix them. This indicates maturity and confidence, but also a willingness to rely on you emotionally, not as a crutch, but as a trusted partner in her inner world. She's exploring the possibility of emotional intimacy without pressure, which is a subtle but powerful sign of openness. It's important to recognize the difference between casual oversharing and this kind of meaningful vulnerability. Oversharing is often impulsive or inconsistent, but intentional vulnerability is deliberate, measured, and consistent. It shows discernment. She's choosing to reveal herself in ways that matter, in ways that reflect her inner judgment about who you are and whether you can be trusted. When this pattern emerges, it's one of the clearest indicators that she is preparing herself to give herself, to invest emotionally, and perhaps eventually physically, if the connection continues to feel safe and reciprocal. Understanding this sign requires patience, mindfulness, and respect. It's not about rushing, pressuring, or assuming outcomes. It's about noticing when she lets her guard down, how she balances curiosity about you with self-disclosure, and how she tests emotional intimacy with care. Responding with empathy, active listening, and steady presence strengthens the bond and signals that you're worthy of her trust. And it's in this safe, responsive space that real closeness and genuine willingness emerges. The fourth hidden sign a woman is open to giving herself is revealed in subtle physical cues and the energy she radiates around you. These signals are rarely loud or obvious. They aren't gestures meant to impress or manipulate. They exist in the natural way she moves, the tone of her voice, the way her body orients itself toward you. Often, these cues are instinctual rather than conscious, and they reveal far more about her internal state than words ever could. Pay attention to her posture and the micro expressions she displays when you're near. Does she lean in slightly when you speak, even if only a little? Does her gaze linger, not in a flirty or theatrical way, but in a way that shows she's fully present and attuned to you? Even her breathing patterns can shift subtly, unconsciously matching the rhythm of your own. These are quiet signals of comfort and openness, a psychological alignment that most men never consciously notice. And yet, when you do notice them, they tell you she feels safe and receptive around you. The energy she radiates is equally important. Some women have a natural warmth that draws people in, but when it's directed specifically toward you, it's intentional, even if unconsciously so. She might laugh more freely in your presence, let her voice soften, or allow moments of quiet reflection where she seems comfortable just existing near you. This energy, calm, receptive, and engaged, is one of the most reliable indicators that she's emotionally and psychologically available. Another layer to observe is her responsiveness to your touch or presence in subtle ways. It may be as small as lightly brushing your arm, mirroring your gestures, or simply adjusting her proximity to be nearer without being intrusive. These moments, though small, are profound because they are unforced. They reflect comfort, trust, and a willingness to let her physical self interact with yours in a natural, unguarded way. It's also worth noting her level of attentiveness in conversation. Does she maintain eye contact in a soft, steady way? Does she nod, smile, or respond with timing that matches your own energy? These micro-signals indicate she's not only present, but emotionally tuned in. Emotional tuning is a prerequisite for deeper intimacy. When a woman demonstrates this consistency over time, it signals that she is considering letting you into the parts of herself most people never see. What makes this fourth sign so powerful is that it's cumulative. One gesture alone might be coincidence, but when her energy, posture, gaze, and responsiveness all consistently align toward you, it becomes a pattern that speaks of trust, comfort, and subtle desire. Recognizing it requires mindfulness, observation, and an understanding that her signals are not performative, but instinctive. And here's the key. Noticing these cues is not about pushing for intimacy or reading her as an object of desire. It's about awareness, acknowledging the quiet ways she signals openness, and responding with respect, patience, and presence. That is how real connection grows, and how you create a space where she can give herself freely, naturally, and safely. The fifth hidden sign that a woman is genuinely opening herself to you is her willingness to invest time and energy into the connection. This doesn't always show up as grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Often, it's subtle, consistent, and deeply revealing. The way she prioritizes moments with you, even when life is busy, is one of the clearest indicators of emotional readiness. She's demonstrating that you're worth her attention, and in human psychology, attention is one of the most valuable currencies we have. Notice the way she plans around you. Does she make space in her schedule to see you, even if it's just a short meeting, a quick coffee, or a phone call at the right moment? She may not announce it as an intentional act of devotion, but in reality, this small effort reflects consideration, care, and subtle commitment. It's a quiet, consistent way of showing that she values the connection, and by extension, she's opening herself emotionally. Energy investment also shows up in the details she remembers. Perhaps she recalls something you mentioned weeks ago, or asks about a project, an event, or a challenge in your life. These are not casual acts. They require mental energy and a conscious choice to keep you in her thoughts. This is a sign she's not merely present, she's engaged. And engagement on this level is a prelude to emotional availability and deeper intimacy. Another layer of this sign is the way she navigates challenges or disagreements with you. A woman willing to invest energy in the connection will approach tension with curiosity and patience rather than avoidance or defensiveness. She's willing to work through small misunderstandings, to communicate thoughtfully, and to maintain presence even when emotions are involved. This demonstrates resilience, respect, and a desire to preserve the relationship, another subtle signal of her openness. It's also reflected in the little sacrifices she makes. She might adjust her plans, accommodate your schedule, or spend time on something that matters to you. These actions are rarely forced. They're natural extensions of care and interest. They show she's willing to meet you halfway, not because she has to, but because she wants to. And when you notice a pattern of this, it's a strong indication that she's emotionally invested and willing to let herself grow closer. Understanding this sign requires patience and mindfulness. You have to see the difference between occasional courtesy and consistent effort. A woman who consistently invests time and energy is signaling that she feels safe, valued, and connected with you. She is creating the conditions for deeper intimacy, and she's subtly testing whether the emotional exchange is reciprocal. Your response matters, respecting her time, reciprocating attentiveness, and honoring the effort she puts in strengthens the bond and encourages her to continue opening herself. This fifth sign, combined with the earlier ones, space creation, mirroring, vulnerability, and physical, emotional cues, forms a clear picture. It's a pattern of investment, attentiveness, and trust. And while these signs might seem small individually, together they reveal a woman who is not just attracted to you, but willing to emotionally and psychologically give herself, to connect, to trust, and to share her inner world with you. The sixth hidden sign, the one that often confirms everything the previous signs hinted at, is her subtle, consistent seeking of emotional and physical closeness without forcing it. This is different from overt flirtation or obvious gestures. It's quiet, almost instinctive, and it reflects a deep comfort and trust. She doesn't demand attention, she doesn't create drama, and she doesn't test you. Instead, she naturally gravitates toward you, she lingers in your presence, and she aligns her energy with yours. This is the culmination of all the earlier signs, the integration of space, mirroring, vulnerability, subtle cues, and invested energy, and it often reveals more than words ever could. You'll notice it in the way she chooses to share moments with you, whether it's a long conversation late at night, a quiet walk, or simply sitting near you in silence. She's not seeking validation or approval, she's seeking connection, and her actions are guided by comfort and trust. When a woman consistently allows this kind of closeness, it shows she's willing to give herself fully, emotionally, and mentally, even if she hasn't said it outright. This openness is rarely rushed. It's slow, deliberate, and steady, the kind of readiness that can only emerge when she feels safe and genuinely seen. Another dimension of this sign is the way she balances independence with connection. She maintains her own life, her own boundaries, and her own emotional autonomy, but she actively chooses to share experiences, thoughts, and moments with you. This shows that her closeness is intentional, not accidental. She's weighing her trust and investment carefully, and the very fact that she continually chooses to be near you is one of the strongest indicators that she's emotionally available and willing to give herself. Perhaps most importantly, this sign is about energy. Her presence feels natural, calm, and inviting. There's no tension, no need for performance, no hidden agenda. She simply exists with you in a way that's warm, responsive, and attuned. And when you notice this consistency over time, it tells you that she's building a foundation of intimacy that goes beyond fleeting attraction. She is showing you, through subtle gestures, attentiveness, and energy, that she's ready to be fully present with you. Recognizing these 6 hidden signs together, creating space, mirroring, intentional vulnerability, physical and emotional cues, invested time and energy, and consistent closeness, gives you a profound understanding of female openness. These behaviors aren't about manipulation, games, or superficial attraction. They're about trust, comfort, emotional attunement, and a desire to connect on a deeper level. And here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman shows these patterns, she is not just interested in a momentary connection. She is signaling that she is willing to give herself, her attention, her trust, her vulnerability, to someone she sees as emotionally safe and present. Recognizing these signs isn't about trying to earn something from her. It's about understanding, respecting, and reciprocating the depth of her trust. That awareness is rare, and it transforms how you relate to women, not as puzzles to solve, but as humans to connect with meaningfully. Pay attention to these signals, respect them, and allow yourself to respond with empathy, patience, and presence. That's where real connection begins, and where a woman will truly feel safe enough to give herself to you.